They drained my credit card for a baby shower I wasn't even asked to attend, then used my promotion bonus to buy my brother a high-end SUV. Be grateful for the car, my mom said. But bills don't pause, you know. I stayed quiet. I locked my accounts and reached out to the bank. At 3:12 a.m., the neighborhood cameras recorded what unfolded next. When I saw the $4,300 charge labeled Joyful Beginnings Events, I thought it was theft. Maybe someone skimmed my card, splurged on a lavish shower with sparkling wine cascades and monogrammed bibs. I never imagined the truth would come from my sister. "Oh, that? It was for Emily's shower," she said. "It felt logical to use your card. You weren't showing up anyway, were you?" I wasn't invited, not wanted, not thought of. They'd orchestrated it for weeks. Handcrafted cupcakes, a lakeside venue, a gourmet brunch. Every detail was charged to my name, my card, without my consent. I didn't protest. I just nodded, forced a smile, and left the family chat. That was Tuesday. By Friday, another alert hit. An $18,000 wire to Elite Auto Imports. A sleek Audi Q5, in my name. A gift from my bonus, which I never saw, for my younger brother. Be grateful for the car, my mom said over the phone like it was a thrift store mug. Then she added, but bills don't pause, you know. I didn't shout. I didn't demand answers. I opened my banking app, froze every account, called the credit company, and reported the car purchase as fraudulent. At 3:12 a.m., I got an alert, multiple login attempts blocked. Then a call from the fraud team. Then nothing. But cameras don't deceive. I reviewed the footage the next morning. A man tall in a hoodie, someone I recognized, testing the lock on my building. My brother, 3:12 and 47 seconds a.m., staring right at the lens. It didn't begin with the shower, or the car, or the bonus I never touched. It began years earlier. It started the first time I covered dinner because you earn the most. The first time I paid the electric bill when Dad's side hustle tanked. The first time my sister said, "You're unattached, what else would you do with your money?" And everyone chuckled like it was a pat on the back. I laughed too. I even felt proud, thinking being relied on meant being cherished. I was wrong. I was just useful. Looking back, I see it clearly now. The framework they constructed and the part they assigned me. Not the son, not the sibling, the asset, the safety net. The backup plan they never had to maintain. I scoured my messages that night. My emails, my bank records, line after line of charges I didn't authorize, some I barely recalled. $1,200 for a family trip I wasn't invited to. $600 for a maid of honor gown, my sister's, not mine. Recurring fees for a family fitness center I never visited, where my brother swipes in weekly and tags me in his stories. Then came the memory that changed everything. 2 years ago, Dad had chest pains, rushed to the hospital. I was out of town, drove 6 hours to get there. Sat in that sterile chair by his bed, clutching his chart like I understood it. Mom showed up last, paused at the door and said, "Oh, you're here. Not thank you. Not we needed you." Just surprised, like she assumed I'd skip it and wouldn't be missed. Then she turned to my sister and said, "Thank God you stayed calm. He always freaks out." They don't see me. They never did. What they see is what I provide: cash, support, utility. Even the Audi, my Audi, wasn't called a gift. It was the least you could do because my brother needed a new start. From what? He lives rent-free. He's dropped out of 3 programs. He once asked if Wi-Fi was a type of software, but he's charismatic, always was, the baby. The favorite, and me, I was the troubleshooter, the figure in the shadows keeping the power on. They thrived on that, and I allowed it. Until now. Because as I pulled bank statements and flagged unauthorized charges, I saw the truth wasn't in the totals. It was in the cycle. Every time I gave, they took more. Every time I stayed quiet, they heard agreement. Every time I said yes, they stopped asking. I wasn't family, I was financing. And the second I stopped giving, I stopped mattering. They didn't call when the accounts were locked. Didn't ask why I flagged the car. They tried to log back into my bank portal, tried to reset passwords, emailed my coworker posing as me. They weren't puzzled. They were desperate. Because their system had collapsed, and they didn't know how to restart it without me. That night, I sat at my kitchen counter with a spreadsheet of every transaction linked to their names. I marked each one with a red pen like I was scoring a test they flunked without trying. Emily's shower, $4,300. Elite Auto Imports, $18,000. Harmony Fitness Studio, $760, Mom's name. Prime Cut Salon, $220 monthly, my brother's haircuts, monthly, like clockwork, like they deserved it. Then I found the clincher. A note in Mom's handwriting scribbled on the edge of a shopping list from last month. See if CD can raise his limit, need it for the trip. The trip I didn't know about, set for the week of my birthday. No invitation, no mention. No remorse, I laughed. Not because it was amusing, but because of the sheer audacity. They planned to spend my money celebrating without me. Again. That's when I stopped thinking like a son and started thinking like a tactician. I began at midnight. Not to hide, but for clarity, absolute operational clarity. I opened my laptop, accessed every system they never bothered to question. The smart locks on their house, linked to my personal email. The security cameras they used to monitor deliveries, nannies, even stray cats. Mine, the insurance policy, tied to my employee ID. The family phone plan, 5 lines, 4 not mine. Everything they depended on, everything they took for granted was scaffolding I'd built. So I started dismantling it. First, the Audi. I called the dealership. The vehicle was purchased with a corporate bonus tied to my job. It was never a gift. I had proof of ownership and the charge was unauthorized. They hesitated, checked the paperwork. "It's still in your name," the rep said. "Want us to start a repossession?" "Yes," I said. Now, at 2:46 a.m., a tow truck rolled down their street. The driver's cam caught it all, hooking, lifting, hauling. My brother must have heard it. He ran out, no shoes, yelling. I didn't watch the full clip. Just enough to see him go quiet as the truck drove off. Second, the accounts. I logged into CD, Bank of America, Visa, and blocked every secondary user, canceled every auto payment. The shower bill, reported as fraudulent. The gym fees, reversed. The trip deposit, disputed and refunded. Then I opened my master list, every service they touched, streaming, terminated, shared Amazon account, all users removed, cloud storage for their family photos. Locked and archived, app subscriptions tied to my card, wiped. I wasn't furious. I was methodical. Next, the phone plan. I sent ownership transfer requests to each user, mom, dad, sister, brother. They had 72 hours to accept or their lines would go offline. Then I made the big move. The mortgage. They forgot I was a cosigner, or pretended to. They needed me to secure the refinance 2 years ago, said it was temporary. I called the lender, said I wanted to sever financial ties. The rep Mark knew me from when I helped fix their database last year. "You've got a history here," he said. "Yes," I replied, "and I'm closing it." Mark started a review. "If they can't handle it alone," he said, "they'll need to renegotiate or face default." "Then let them renegotiate," I said. My role was over. I closed the laptop, stood, stretched. It was 5:12 a.m. By 7:40 the calls began. First my brother. "The car's gone," he barked. "Was this you?" I didn't respond. Then Mom. "The cameras are down. The app says the account's off." Still I said nothing. Then a group chat ping. "Why's Disney Plus not working?" I watched it unfold from my kitchen, coffee in hand, notifications flaring like distress signals. Dad's voicemail came an hour later. "Is this some kind of stunt? This is immature. Act your age." Act my age. That's what they say when you stop being their crutch. By noon, it intensified. An email from Mom's friend. "Hey, Linda's freaking out, says you're cutting her off. What's up?" I replied once. "This isn't your concern." Then blocked her. By 2:03 p.m., a text from my sister. "I need the Hulu password. Exams, come on." I typed, deleted, then typed again. "You're not my responsibility." Sent. She fired back with a rolling eyes emoji, then a snarky one. By evening, they realized the system was gone, and I'd ended it, but I wasn't finished. Because they didn't know how much they relied on me. The family's tax guy, my referral. Their antivirus software, my subscription. Even the spam filters on their email set up when Dad kept falling for crypto scams, my code. I started pulling everything. Admin rights revoked, security keys updated, vendor contacts erased. By the next morning, their digital world was hollow. Then came the frenzy. Mom called 21 times. Her voicemail shifted from bewilderment to fury. "You don't do this to kin. We raised you. We counted on you." Dad didn't call. He sent a letter, typed, stiff. "We demand immediate restoration of all services under your control. Failure to comply will result in legal action." I laughed, not out of spite, just disbelief. He thought this was a service agreement. He thought I was a contractor. That's when I sent everything to my attorney, every unauthorized charge. Every text, every screenshot of their access attempts and denial of my role. "Do you want to sue?" he asked. "No," I said. "I want them cut off for good." He got it. Then I made the final call of the day to their local tech firm. "Hi, you set up a security system for last name. Residence? Yes, I'm the one who paid. I'm canceling the service, effective now." They didn't ask why. They didn't call to say sorry. They called to intimidate. The first voicemail hit at 6:41 a.m. Mom, yelling, not sobbing, yelling, "You're cruel. After all we've done, you treat us like this, cutting us off, making us look foolish. You think we'll just take it?" I didn't answer. Then a text from Dad. "Reinstate access to the accounts now, or I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are." Odd wording, not "let's talk," not "we messed up," just "comply or else." At 8:14 a.m., my sister joined in. "I'm telling people you're losing it, that you're unhinged again, don't test me." That word, again. They always spun my boundaries as breakdowns. Saying no meant I was fragile. I didn't reply. That night, they changed tactics. My aunt shared a photo of the baby shower, the one I funded but wasn't invited to. Caption, "Kin is everything, blessed for those who show up, not just those who pay." I nearly laughed. They wanted to reshape the story, erase the evidence. But they forgot I have the evidence. The next day, calls started from unknown numbers, family friends, distant relatives, church members. "Hey, your mom said you're struggling, that you're unstable. Your dad said you were compromised. That you didn't mean to lock everything. Your sister's concerned you might do something drastic." Crocodile tears dressed as care. They weren't concerned. They were building a smear campaign. Still, I stayed quiet, silence, calculated, absolute. Then they upped the stakes. At 3:37 p.m., an anonymous email, no signature, just files, PDFs, screenshots, and one line. "Wonder how your boss will react to this." They'd faked expense reports. Forged emails suggesting I'd mishandled company funds. The irony? They used a spreadsheet I'd made for them years ago to track their budget. They barely tweaked it. I spotted the font mismatch instantly. I sent it all to legal. They traced the metadata to my brother's Wi-Fi. When I didn't answer, they tried again. Instagram, a story from my cousin's page, a fuzzy photo of me at Christmas holding a beer, eyes drooping. Caption, "Some folks need saving, not attention." Then Dad's move, a Facebook post. "We raised a son who lost his way, but family doesn't quit even when they're stabbed in the back." The comments rolled in. "Praying for you. He'll come back. Kids these days." They weren't speaking to me. They were performing for an audience. Still, I stayed silent, and silence broke them. Because without a target who fights back, their story falls apart. On the 5th day, Mom showed up, banging on my door like it had wronged her. I watched through the peephole. No makeup. Tangled hair, sneakers, holding her phone in one hand, waving a printout in the other. I didn't open. She shouted through the wood. "We relied on you, we needed you, and you bilayed. You think you're above us." Then her voice dropped. "This is all Emily's fault. She said you were acting strange. She pushed me to use your card. She tricked me." The switch. From control to victim. From fury to deflection. A full-blown spectacle, and I didn't even buy a pass. Still, I didn't open. She left eventually. I picked up the printout she shoved under the door. A list of charges annotated in red. Reimbursable. Family duty? Agreed. Agreed, with question marks. After spending $22,000 of my money, after buying my brother a car and leaving me off the invite. At 9:14 p.m., she sent one last text. "You destroyed us." No punctuation, just pure spite. And I felt nothing, not anger, not grief, not victory, just calm. For once, I wasn't being sucked into their chaos. I wasn't responding, I wasn't fixing. They weren't screaming at their son, they were screaming at their lost foundation. The one who propped them up and had finally stepped away. They thought silence meant guilt, that I wouldn't speak, wouldn't push back, wouldn't dare expose the truth. They were wrong. I didn't send a message, I didn't write an email, I posted it all. First, the charges, a slideshow of screenshots, $4,300 for Joyful Beginnings events, $18,000 to Elite Auto Imports, delivered to Ethan, my brother, May 15. Text from my sister. "You weren't coming, lol, relax. Mom, you're single, you can spare it." I added one caption. "They spent my promotion bonus on an Audi. I wasn't invited to the shower I paid for. They called it fair." Then it blew up. 10 minutes, 900 likes. 20 minutes, 120 shares. By noon, 14,000 people knew what my family did, but I wasn't done. Next post, PDF of the dealership contract. My name as sole buyer. Notarized dispute letter. Email confirming repossession order. Audi VIN ending in 5923. Retrieval complete. Caption, "They told neighbors it was a gift from a friend." The friend was me. I took it back. Then the video. A sharp 30-second clip from my building's security feed. Timestamp, 3:12 and 47 seconds a.m. My brother, hoodie, testing the code, looking straight at the camera. No disguise, no shame. After the accounts were locked. After the car was towed, after the silence hit, it went viral, thousands of comments, DMs from strangers. "This is financial sabotage. You're not the bad guy, you're the safeguard. I hope they see this." But not everyone stayed quiet. At 2:41 p.m., Mom's friend posted, Sad when family fights spill online, especially when someone twists the truth. So I twisted back. I shared the printout. Every charge labeled family use. Every password reset they attempted after I changed the locks. Even the logs from their burner calls to my coworker. Caption, not a fight, facts. By 4:03, Dad deleted his Facebook. By 4:17, my sister locked her Instagram. By 4:29, my aunt erased a shady post from 2 weeks ago that said, "Some people only give to look good." Then a local journalist picked it up. Money, family, deception, it had legs. She asked for a statement. I gave two. One, I didn't break the family. I stepped out of a setup where I was expected to bankroll their lives and stay unseen. Two, I was never the issue. I was the quiet that hid their flaws. The story dropped at 6:22 p.m. Headline, The Son Who Drew the Line, How One Man Halted a Family's Financial Grip. They didn't take it well. At 7:03, I got a group voicemail. Mom, Dad, sister, they thought they'd ended the call, but it cut off mid-sentence. Mom, he thinks people care, it'll fizzle out. Dad, he better stop this, we've got people watching. Sister, if he thinks this makes him big, just wait. Wait for what? More lies, more threats. Because then came the final blow, an anonymous email, no sender, just a subject. What will your company think of a scammer? Attached. Forged emails accusing me of rigging vendor deals, using templates I'd made for them years ago to organize their finances. They were trying to torch my job. I didn't blink. I forwarded the thread with metadata to my legal team. They traced the files to my brother's home network. Checkmate, but I wasn't finished. Because I knew what they feared most, not being exposed, being proven right. So I posted the final piece, a black screen, white text. They taught me silence was love, that giving meant loyalty, that helping quietly made me worthy, but they don't get to define worthy anymore. You don't get to rewrite the truth when the proof is public. No tags, no names, just reality, and this time they couldn't spin it, couldn't DM it away, couldn't tell a neighbor, he's just emotional. Because now the story wasn't theirs. The power had shifted. For the first time, I wasn't their son. I was the source of evidence, of exposure, of control, and they knew it. The next day, one message from my aunt who'd called me petty, 3 words, "You went viral." I replied, "You went too far." They didn't come angry this time, they came scripted. Sunday, 9:22 p.m., I saw them through the peephole. Mom in a cozy cardigan, Dad in a tie he wears to court dates, my sister clutching a bakery pie like a white flag. I didn't open the door, I cracked the window instead. "Whatever you prepared," I said, "make it quick, then go." Mom blinked. Dad forced a grin. My sister stepped up. "We're here to end this. No fighting," she said. "You already started one," I replied, "and you lost." "We were overwhelmed," Mom said. "We said things we regret." "No," I cut in. "You meant every syllable. You meant it when you called me a failure." They meant every word. "You meant it when you called me a burden, when you spent my money and told people I was unhinged." They meant every moment. You just didn't expect me to push back. Dad moved closer. "It's family. It gets complicated." "It complicated," I said. "It was calculated. You planned every charge, every withdrawal, every lie." Then came their trump card. "We just want to be a family again." I paused. Looked down at them from the second-story window. "You don't miss me," I said. "You miss what I provided." They didn't need for you. They missed the solver. "You miss the fixer, the buffer." They didn't have. They didn't look tired. "We're making effort," Mom whispered. "No," I said. "You're bargaining with the fallout." Then I gave them what they came for, the final word, the curtain call. I didn't walk away because of the money. I walked away because the second I stopped paying, I stopped being real to them. Silence. My sister looked ready to break. Dad looked like he'd aged a decade. Mom held that pie like it was an anvil. No more credit, no more systems. No more dinners, chats, or do-overs. They weren't estrangement. It was emancipation. This is not abandonment. It's freedom. I'm not their ATM provider. I'm not their redemption story arc. I'm just done. They turned without a word. As they walked to their car, I whispered, too soft for them to hear, just for myself, me. They didn't lose the account. They lost the account holder. And I closed the window, not with a crash, with peace.